We'd now like to welcome our UNE President James Herbert to kick off tonight's event with some opening remarks.
So hello, thank you for that lovely welcome, Katie and Ashley. I appreciate it. And thank you both very much for the leadership roles you play at UNE, the many leadership roles. I'm very grateful. Thank you. And good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'm so glad you could join us this evening to reflect on the impact that Title IX has had on collegiate athletes, as well as the opportunities women students have in their lives beyond graduation. Before I offer my perspective on the significance of Title IX, I'd like to thank some of the many people in the groups who helped make this event possible, echoing some of the words that Katie and Ashley said. And this includes Professor Katie Hawk and Amy Vlachos, the Female Athletic Alliance, the Athletics Department, and the Maine Sports Commission. Thank you very much. And I'd also like to express my appreciation to our esteemed keynote speaker, Angela Rogero, and our panelists, Abby Thielen and Emma Tiedemann, and our very own Heather Davis, of course. Thank you all for coming and joining us. And thank you for sharing your wisdom with us tonight. We gather some 50 years after the passage of the Education Amendments of 1972, which included a clause that would become known as Title IX. This landmark legislation prohibits any person in the United States from being discriminated against on the basis of sex by any institution or educational program receiving federal financial assistance. As a result, our country's undergone transformative changes in terms of women's participation in athletics, STEM programs, and employment at colleges and universities. Additionally, these institutions have come to treat sexual harassment and sexual assault with the gravity that they deserve, and to ensure equal opportunities for pregnant and parenting students. I'm proud to say that UNE has demonstrated a consistent history of supporting Title IX in athletics and beyond. We've done this by making investments in the human capital necessary to ensure the equal treatment of all UNE community members. It's true that colleges and universities receiving federal funding are required by law to have an employee identified as a Title IX coordinator, but at many schools, this responsibility is only part of and not the main focus of that employee's job description. Title IX coordinators at such places often lack the institutional support and training to adequately manage the complexities of Title IX compliance on their campuses. It's a big job. It includes monitoring programs and resources for compliance, providing education and awareness to the community, and addressing complaints. Recognizing this, at UNE, we created a standalone Title IX coordinator position, and we've continued to allocate resources to provide education and support across the university. In 2018, we added additional staff to expand our efforts even further. We've also intentionally fostered a culture that prioritizes the success of women members of our community. The result is a community-wide effort to ensure we're doing all we can to support our women students. Our Title IX office, led by Angela Schomburger, is met with a spirit of collaboration across the university. An example is our Green Dot Bystander Training Initiative program. Faculty, professional staff, and student groups help create events, offer educational resources, and offer training aimed at preventing gender-based violence. When it comes to athletics specifically, UNE can be proud of its multi-decade track record of commitment to gender equity. 3 of UNE's past 4 athletic directors have been women. And just in the last decade, we've added 3 new varsity sports for women. In 2012, we added women's ice hockey. In 2016, we added women's rugby. And just last year, in 2021, we added women's outdoor track and field. We're very proud of the women athletes that represent UNE on these teams, and indeed on all of our teams. They are role models for us all. Finally, I'd like to recount a recent decision we faced at UNE that exemplifies our commitment to our women athletes. Our women's swimming team was accepted to the Great Northeast Atlantic Conference for this season, the 2021-22 season, and had its first ever championship scheduled this past February, so just last month. As the event drew near, the weather report was awful. Snow, freezing rain, sleet, a real nor'easter trifecta. And we were concerned about the team being able to travel safely. The question was whether we should wait and see how the weather played out, knowing that if the team was delayed, some of our swimmers would meet the opening day's events, or if we should have our team leave a day early, which would incur additional costs for travel, meals, hotel rooms, etc. In a conversation with senior leadership, we very quickly made the decision to send the team early to ensure their safe travel while preserving the full championship experience for our athletes. And the team made us very proud, breaking a school record in the 800-meter freestyle relay and placing third out of 10 teams overall in the championship. We all win when everyone, no matter their gender, enjoys equal access to the bounties of a college education and to college athletics participation. Across so many measures, our country is a vastly better place for women than it was in 1972. And yet, there remains much work to be done to close the gender gap in sports and in the world beyond sports. I'm grateful that UNE is able to play its part, and I'm so very pleased that we can take some time tonight to celebrate this milestone for Title IX and together to reflect on its legacy. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Reagan Carey, who's here representing the Maine Sports Commission. Thank you all very much.